Hi folks, this is Mr. G here with HSS Tech. Today we are going to be talking about AutoCAD and specifically learning about the Layer Properties Manager. The Layer Properties Manager. This is possibly the most important thing you can learn in AutoCAD, and it's managing all of the group sets of objects. For example, in the name tag project, in your template, there are dimensions. These are in orange. There's the object that you want to use the red for in order to tell the laser that you are cutting these lines. There is solid black for where we want to engrave text. And I also gave you a little bit of information here to kind of help you get going. So all of these have different properties. When we get into our house plans, this gets a lot more involved and complex. So what you first need to do is open up the Layer Properties Manager. This can be found right in the middle of your ribbon at the top, Layer Properties, or you can also simply type in layer into your command bar. So once you type in layer, it will appear on the left side of your screen. I'm going to maximize this so that you can see what everything is and what it does. So little guy here in the corner. Okay, there we go. Little guy here in the corner. We can see our name tag still. Over here, the Layer Properties Manager. The green check mark tells us what layer we're currently operating in. So make sure when you're working in a layer, so if I want to add more cut lines, I'm going to double click there to turn it on. I can also go to my ribbon and turn the layer. Maybe I want to be in dimensions. I can turn it there and you'll notice that green check mark will move. Next over, we have the name of the layer. It's always good to do all caps architectural lettering. Do a quick short form of what it is the layer is for. So I've got like the cut layer. The DIMS stands for dimensions. I didn't fully engrave. It's kind of up to you what you call it as long as it makes sense. For the house plan, I'm going to have very specific ones that are going to be, you have to follow those. But for your own projects, do what you want. Next over, we have turning a layer on or off. So if we try and turn off a layer that is already selected that we're working in, it won't let us. So we will close out of that and we'll maybe turn off a layer that isn't selected. So you can, but it's best practice to only turn off things that you aren't using. So I'm going to turn off the cut and you'll notice it disappears there. This allows you to edit things without selecting the things that are turned off. Freeze is a very similar deal. If you say freeze a layer, it will disappear. It also just kind of goes away. Two different ways to do the same thing. I need to get deeper into what the real differences are between those two. I'll let you know. Next, we have lock. So lock allows you to still see something, but not edit it. So I can click on it, but I can't move it. I can't delete it. It just stays there. So handy if we want to see something and not select it. After that, we have plot. So plot is whether a layer will print when we send it to the laser, when we send it to the printer to print our AutoCAD plans for a house. And so I have the 0 and def points and dimensions set to not print. So I can print out my little name tag just fine with those on. After that, color. If you are using the laser, This is essential. You need the right color. If you are engraving, you need pure black. 0, 0, 0. If I select 250, it won't work. I need 0, 0, 0. So make sure you are selecting 0, 0, 0 to engrave. After that, for the cut layer, if you're engraving, or sorry, cutting out on the laser, you need pure red. This is going to be just red, R-E-D. So click OK, and that's good to go. The next one over, you have line type. So we learned about line types in class. There are many different line types. There's continuous, there's hidden, there's phantom, all for different uses. Each group set of objects, we can apply a different line type to. So for example, if we wanted to do upper cabinetry, this is typically hidden from view in a house plan. We would do a hidden line, just like we do for orthographic drawing, because it can't be seen, but we know it's there. Another great example is the dishwasher underneath the countertop. We know it's there, but it's hidden by the countertop. So we would go to something like it. But for now, we'll just keep it continuous. Next one over, we have line weight. So you'll notice on here, everything's default except for my engrave and my cut. If you're doing things on the laser, this needs to be 0.00. If it's anything different, it probably won't work. It needs to be infinitely thin in width for the laser to recognize it. I have those set to 0 and 0. The rest of these, I actually don't know what they do. If you figure it out, come and let me know. I'm sure there's some level of importance there. I think transparency is how bright the colors are in the layer. But yeah, so that is a little bit about the Layer Properties Manager. How do we make layers? We make layers by going to the very top here, and there's a little stack of papers with a little star beside it. So we can click New Layer. And maybe you want to call this layer your name. So I'm going to call this one Mr. G. And I'm going to make it green because my last name is Greenwood. Click OK. And I'm going to make this a hidden line. OK. I'm going to make the line weight nice and thick for 1. OK. And yeah, that's perfect for me. So now if I go into my new layer and I draw a line, we are going to draw it like that. And it's this crazy looking line, but that's something you can change with the layer properties. If you notice that you don't see the dashes, you just need to zoom in. We can change the line type scale later. That's another video. But yeah, if we don't love a layer, we don't need it anymore, we can delete it, which if you go up here, we have the ability to delete a layer. So we can go and delete, and selected layer was not deleted. Let's see. Oh, we cannot delete the current layer. So we'll go out of that, and this one we will delete. Perfect. There's a few more things in here. I'd encourage you to play around with them. Again, if you hover over anything, typically AutoCAD's pretty smart and it will tell you a little information about it. Yeah, hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, take care.